Welcome to another episode of the Baddy Preshow podcast. This is Chai.
And I am Blaze, here to report week six,
Going into week 7, yeah.
7. Yeah, all that.
So let's just cut straight to the business, Blaze. Real quick, notes for those at home. T2 Slade will not be joining us, as well as due to what we will recap very soon. T2 has to change his name. Blaze, you want to tell us what his new name is?
Yes, he will now be referred to as T3 Simp. He is not on the podcast with us today because he is a whiny baby, but he will be back, and we will be calling him T3 Simp for the remainder of this podcast and the next podcast because he's supposed to be here.
He's also not going to be on the pod. He's not going to be streaming on Wednesday. So definitely in top 8, he will still be T3 Simp.
Exactly.
For real though, he is out there. He's getting ready for SmashCon. He's going to be advertising his game. For those you don't know, T3 Simp is a game developer. He is putting out a platform fighter called Blindsight. I would definitely recommend looking it up on Patreon. He is advertising it at Super SmashCon, which is super hyped that he gets his own booth. I have a lot of fun playing it. I'm personally a Pompadour Jack main. The game's super fun. T3, we wish you the best of luck at SmashCon. And then lastly, to note for that, because we did talk this over, I've talked this over with Blaze and some people who are in the... there's a group of people that hang out during the Wednesday stream and kind of watch together and play games on the side. The closest there was to a 3-stock was me against Albino Joe. This was done as a little Easter egg for Cax, who was not going to be able to watch my game until he came home. But I did kamikaze when I had 3 stocks on the second game. And I could have 3-stocked Albino Joe, but I wanted to do a little sign-off for Cax. It seems like the general agreement is that I can't control all the sets. And so me kamikazing there, even though it wasn't in mind about the bet when I did that, is not collusion against the bet.
Well, regardless, I've got my 4-day pass for SmashCon. I'm not going to dwell too much over it because I'm excited for Blindsight. I get to see T3 in person. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want you to have the best of fun. That sounds so great. Are you going to enter bracket for SmashCon?
Yes, I entered bracket. I think that's
hell yeah. You got to tell us next week's show. You got to tell us how it went.
I will.
All right. On to the actual show, though. Do you want to give us a quick recap of last week? All right.
Let's recap last week real swift and quick. We started the stream off with the Lars 2-0 over our commissioner, a Blaze 2-0 versus Chris DPG. Unfortunately, Wellens was unable to participate, so he lost by forfeit over KK. Candy 2-0 over Mad Cow. Kiszer 2-1 over Heather. Albino Joe 2-0 over Cax. Duds 2-0 over Blaze. Lars 2-1 over Kiszer. Chai 2-0 over Albino Joe. And then Reaver 2-1 over LPJ. Now, in the elimination bracket, we had Firehawk 2-0 over Huckletune. Then we had Firehawk 2-1 over First, in the losers bracket, we had Huckletune 2-1 over Zachman in the Link Ditto. Then, in grand finals, Huckletune reset the bracket.
Yes, he did.
Right? Reset the bracket with a 3-0, but Firehawk brought home the gold and won the entire elimination bracket 2-1, I believe. So congratulations to Firehawk. His freshman season, bringing home a gold medal to all his Firehawk babies at home. Made all of his Hawk family proud. Congratulations.
Yeah, the chicks in the nest definitely have to be happy about that. Real quick, so with the history of the elimination bracket is brief but pretty substantial. Last season, it was Cax and Kiszer. Kiszer won it all. Cax came in second. And we saw pretty strong growth from both of them. Cax went undefeated in group stage. He's in a rough spot being 0-2 in Swiss right now. and Kiszer made top 8 seed uh, after winning the elimination bracket last season. How far do you think Firehawk and Huckleton are going to be able to take their success here and transform it into something greater next season?
Let's see. I definitely expect to see Firehawk and Huckleton in the top 16 next season. Kiszer is a little bit more irregular and erratic with his results, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure where to place him for like next season placings. He's an amazing player, fantastic player. But the new blood is rising. I mean, when I say new blood, I'm really just talking about I'm talking about Firehawk and Heather, really. Uh, they're progressing so fast, and we had a week where we talked about hook resets. Learning the game and trying to. He's got an amazing growth rate. So I love the freshman class. I want to see them in the top 16, but don't kick me out of the top 16. Just beat everyone else. I expect great things.
There's one last game, and we actually have Heather on the show later, this evening. Spoiler, actually had her early this evening, but she comes on later at the end of the show. But we asked her about a very, 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 what will now be an iconic set in Baddy Smash, which was her versus Kiszer, and Game 2 specifically. Blaze, would you consider yourself more of a defensive player or more of an offensive player?
I would like to consider myself an offensive player. I hope others consider me an offensive player. But I do need to incorporate defensive play in my gameplay more. How would you describe yourself, Chai?
I would actually say about the same. It really is character dependent. I can be pretty campy when I want to on Wolf, but for the most part, I play pretty aggro, and I feel the same. I could incorporate some defensive gameplay, and I want to talk about the beauty of defensive gameplay and how interesting it is to watch. And we got a special occasion here again with the Heather versus Kiszer, the Ridley versus Wolf. Now, to recap for you, if you had not watched this set, I would definitely recommend rewatching it. But it's game 2. Kiszer's up 1-0 against Heather, and Kiszer's on his last stock, and he's playing. Heather has 2 stocks left, and right at 5 minutes and 57 seconds, Kiszer does something pretty unprecedented for someone who's down a stock. And what he does is he camps the shit out of Heather with laser. He is only opting to shoot laser. He's not approaching. And if you're familiar with the rule set, in a case of a timeout, the person with higher stocks or lower percent, if its stocks are even, wins. So Kiszer's in a losing position camping here. It Again, it was roughly a minute and 57 seconds of just straight laser shooting, neither person moving, Heather standing on a platform. In that time span, 43 lasers were shot and 19 uses of plasma breath were thrown out. This was intense, and I'll be honest with you, Blaze. I don't know how you felt about this, but I thought we had a real chance of a timeout. At 3:43, Kiszer finally approached, did get a kill out with an up tilt, and the game went on to normal. But Blaze, what were you thinking as you were watching this set?
So in the case of Kiszer being down a stock, wouldn't people assume that Heather was camping Kiszer since she had the lead? So it's like, I mean, of course, both people have the option of approaching, but you would definitely assume that it's Kiszer's job to approach. Well, I guess that's probably why you said it, because it was Kiszer's job to approach since he's losing, and yet he chose to just shoot laser. I mean, I wasn't thrilled. I wasn't thrilled watching it. I know it happens. I go to tournaments, so I've seen a timeout happen before. I've seen them on YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. It was more so of, it's always more at this level. It's more as a, who's going to break first, right? Who is going to wait out the first 10, 30, 45 seconds and then say, you know what? I'm not having fun anymore. I would rather push buttons than sit here and watch the clock. That it makes sense to me if you were like a sponsored player at Genesis 9, you're in the top 8. Like, okay, a timeout kind of makes sense. You've got money on the line. Your sponsors are really looking at your results. In that sense, a timeout makes sense. To me, it makes less sense in this sort of setting, right? In a friends tournament, but you play as close to tournament as possible. So
you play to win the game.
You play to win the game. So I see it. I can put myself in their shoes, but I think I still choose, not to go that route, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, and I definitely see what you're talking about, like not taking the game as seriously, but also still wanting to win is an interesting balance when it comes to Baddy Smash. AJS has alleged this. This isn't in the rules, but it's alleged that you would get banned if you played specifically for a timeout in Baddy Smash. Which creates a meta around time itself, because it is a resource. You can play defensive. You can try to bait someone out. But in that circumstance, like, you have to see, again, who was really camping who. Was it Heather camping Kiszer, or Kiszer camping Heather? I did get to talk to both of them. And Kiszer had said he just didn't want to move. He wanted Heather to make a mistake and get a kill off of it and try to bait it through just camping out lasers. And Heather, despite playing a character who's not like super well known for camping, in our interview had stated that she's pretty comfortable with defensive play and has even practiced playing more defensively, working the time. And it didn't go to time. I would have loved to see what happened if it did. I'd hope no one would get banned. I think it's a very unique situation. But culturally, timeouts are very seen poorly in Baddy Smash. There's an alleged ban if you do it. I don't know if AJS actually would go through with it. But yeah, that was just a sight to behold for a whole 1 minute and 57 seconds. And I'm glad we got to see it, even if it isn't the most quote unquote entertaining form of play.
Yeah, I think what I want Baddy Smash to take away from that game, I think I would rather them come up with better ways to approach rather than, I'm not going to approach at all, right? Because if you just hold forward and hit any button, you're going to get punished, right? That's what happens when you play Candy Jack. If you run a Candy with some crazy ass dash attack or some aerial that isn't space, you get upbeat and you die. If you try that against Wellens, you're going to get grabbed and then you're going to get buried in the ground if he's playing his K rule. If you do that back against KK's Donkey Kong, he's going to carry you off the edge if you've got a shitty recovery. So it's really up to the player to find the safe ways to approach in the matchup that you've got in front of you. That's what I hope people would take away from that match.
Yeah, I one thing I hope people take away is that you can play the time, but be careful. Again, there's strategy in being defensive. There's strategy in not approaching. Be careful, and again, try to mix it up if you can. Even if you watch Pro Smash play and you even see someone like Sonics or Wrath, who are known as timeout Sonic players, they still throw attacks at you in safe situations with whiff punishes. That is something you can use to your advantage. But enough about last week. Let's talk about this upcoming week, Blaze. Is there anything you're looking forward to seeing for next week?
Let me pull it up. Let's see what we've got next week. Okay, so we've got a lot of 1-2s that still are yet to be decided. But what is decided is starting off the stream with Chris DPG versus AJS, Axe versus Heather, Chai versus Lars, Wellens versus Reaver, and Duds versus Mad Cow. Yes, yes, yes. The opener is going to be a banger. The opener is going to be a great one. I do not know the set count. Chris versus AJS. Do you know the set count?
No clue.
Okay, well, it'll either be, I predict either Chris will be using Terry or Ike or Byleth. And AJS has got 5 characters in the rotation right now, so I can't wait to see what he picks. I think this is a really good chance for Chris to just sharpen his kill confirms, his and his recovery routes, because he had a really bad SD last week. So he's really got to make sure that his nerves are non-existent next week, because he's 0-2, and I know he wants to keep playing. And then the closer is also going to be high. Well, that's not the closer, but the last scheduled match that we have right now, Duds versus Mad Cow, should be great. I think those two have gone back and forth for a long time. I've always been a big Duds fan, so I want to see him win it. I want to see him progress to top 8 because I want to see him do amazing things.
I really love that match too. As reluctant as it is for me to say, I am a Mad Cow fan. I do believe in him, even if I hate playing him and I hate everything that K-Rool stands for. I'm a Mad Cow fan. Me and Duds go way back. So I always root for Duds. It's gonna be a fun match to watch. I have a couple questions about next week though. I want to get your insight on them.
Mm-hmm.
We got 4 players who are 0-2. Do you think any of them have a shot in hell to make top 8?
I can't even. I think I don't want to hear. All right. I think Chris DPG and Cax have a chance of making top 8. I think they have a chance.
You think so?
I think so. Cax more so than Chris DPG, just because with Hero, anything's possible.
I love my boy Cax. I don't think any of them do. I think them going to put on a good show. I think I think DBG and Cax both have a chance to make it to the 2-2 section. But at that point in time, I mean, Mad Cow is going to be 2-2. Lars might be 2-2. I might be 2-2. That's a tough area to fight.
Between Mad Cow, Lars, and Wellens or Reaver. Yeah. It's not going to be easy. It could be done. We'll see.
And then lastly, we love doing some predictions here on the show. And this is when prediction season gets real good. Who's making top 8, Blaze? Who you got making top 8?
All right, who do we have confirmed so far? Just KK and Candy?
Just KK and Candy.
All right. Our season 7 top 8 will be KK, Candy, Duds, KK, Candy, Duds, Ty, Wellens, Blaze. Wait, that's 6. Reaver and Mad Cow. Mad Cow will probably be there.
All right, here's what I got.
All right, here we go.
I am glad that you believe in yourself, by the way. I love that energy. I have KK and Candy, of course. I have, if I look at the schedule, I actually see Lars upsetting me. Okay. So I see Lars, Wellens, Duds, Mad Cow, me, and in that 8th spot, I have... You know what? I think we might see this. I think we'll have Albino Joe fill out that 8th spot.
Ooh, okay. All right. Okay. My first question is, why do you see Lars beating you next week?
I historically struggle against heavy characters.
Okay.
When you see me make big, last season I got really lucky with my bracket luck and I didn't have to play a heavy player until you. And I don't even recall I think you played Incineroar for one of the 3 games. I think you played Dark Pit the other 2.
Okay.
So I got pretty lucky there. And then I had to play against Wellens, and Wellens knocked me out in the 4th place spot. But if you look at me historically, I did beat Wellens this year, but I lost to Mad Cow. I lost to KK. I play very poorly against heavies. When I played against you, it was Peach Sora in a weird turn of events. But I definitely dread having to play heavies. Lars plays the heaviest character in the game. If you saw the Kiszer matchup against Lars earlier in the season, it's a brutal one. Wolf is not that great against Bowser. It's actually one of his top 5 worst matchups. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I actually have some secret sauce I'll be bringing against Lars. I will not be playing the Wolf. So we'll have some excitement going into the stream. But I still think I'm going to make top 8. I think Lars, of all the people who have upset odds between Mad Cow, Reaver, Lars, I think actually Lars is the one who has the best chance at it.
Now, what is the overall set count between you and Lars?
It is currently 1-0. I think I've only played him once. I played him with I used Ness and Banjo against him.
Really? You only played
I think
once.
either
Okay.
last season or the season before.
That sounds like a season 4 match, but I mean, I don't know. All right, my last question is I think the hardest. Oh, okay. Yeah. What is of the matches that we know, the 5 matches that we know, what would be the hardest match to bet on?
I would say, ooh, DPG AJ 0. I think is the hardest one. I think that's the closest of the people. I think me is a hard one to bet on, especially because I just put that negative energy in the air.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think Chris DPG versus AJ 0 is the closest set on paper, right next to Duds and Mad Cow.
Oh, yeah, Duds and Mad Cow is pretty close. But I was looking at Wellens versus Head Reaver and Cax versus Heather. Just for the simple fact that is Cax showing us that his luck is running out on Hero from what we've seen last week. And we know Wellens and Reaver play all the time. So it's like, I don't think they have any more tricks that, well, Reaver might just pick up some random ass character. You know, he might be a Luigi main by next week. But they should know 90% of each other's tricks.
That is true. It's similar to when you see me and Duds or me and Candy play. Like we've played against each other hundreds upon hundreds of times.
Right.
Yeah, so like we know each other's tricks. Um, yeah, I think Cax might be able to actually get by this time. I bought him hooked on Phonics so he can actually read the hero spells and not just pick Kamikaze when he's gotten his last stock.
What a good roommate. What a good roommate you are.
I'm there for my guy, you know? I'm there for my guy. You were talking about Reaver and the fluctuation of characters that he has, and it does lead me to our Baddy bet of the week for this upcoming season.
Merciful God. All right, let's hear it.
There are, of the 14 players left, there are 5 solo dedicated mains to characters. The rest are people who have multiple characters under their belt and then have picked multiple different characters throughout this season. I predict we will see 19 or more different characters on stream, which amounts to 5 of the 9 players who aren't solo mains switching characters in their set.
9 players will switch characters next week. That's what you're saying?
Yes, just about basically.
Okay.
9 or more.
9 or more. 9 or more. Okay, let's look through the list. Ty will switch characters. Duds will switch characters. Reaver will definitely switch characters. AJS probably switch characters. Chris DPG. See, Chris kind of goes by the book when it comes to switching characters, right? If you win, you stay your character. If you lose, consider switching. So Chris is 50-50. I'm 50-50. Mad Cow, Heather, Joey, probably not 50-50. Kiszer and Enigma. Always talking about, oh, I can't use Joker, and then all of a sudden, here he comes Joker. Max using Hero all season. I know he's got Olimar in the pocket. I know he used to play. Lucas was for like bad Wi-Fi, so maybe his Lucas is dead and buried. I will say we will see less than 19 characters next week.
Alrighty. That makes a split on this one. I'm really a little stumped right now on the bet on what the punishment should be. Do you have anything?
Winner of the bet. The winner of the bet. Next podcast, of course, we will be addressing T3 Simp as his government name, T3 Simp. But the winner has to only compliment him. They can't say anything negative about him. The loser of the bet.
All right, and the loser has to go out of their way to compliment Mr. Simp.
Absolutely. Promoting his simp antics.
All right. That sounds like a pretty good deal. All right, so I think that closes it out for this show, this base show here at the Baddy Preshow podcast. So next, we have Heather on for an interview. The Devourer of the Rich herself, telling us a little bit about her choice with Ridley, her history in Baddy Smash, and that fateful match against Kiszer. But for now, we'll cut to a quick commercial break.
Hi. At one moment in all of our lives, we wonder a simple question. Do t-shirts predict the future? Or do we take faith and bend it to our will in accordance to the t-shirt? Well, here at Reeves Tees, there's a shirt for every kind of outlandish wish you may want. Candy-winning Baddy Smash with Kirby? We have it in double XL all the way down to quadruple small. AJ making top 8? We have it all sorts of colors in Reaver Salvo variations as well. Chris DPS not SDing. Laserless Kiszer, Chokeless Chai, and out at 17th KK Classics are in stock at all prices. However, nothing matches our signature line like Mecha T Baddy Smash 8 Champ coming this fall. So be on the lookout and stop by Reeves Tees down on the corner of Mile 8 next to the Sunoco. It's the future we see at Reeves Tees. Fursuits at Mile and location.
Welcome back to the Baddy Preshow podcast. I'm here with Blaze and the devourer of the rich herself, Heather. Heather, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks.
Heather, we always start off with the Baddy origin story. So the listeners are dying to know your first Smash game as well as how you got into Baddy.
Let's see. I think my first Smash game, 64, back in like 3rd grade. So, and I'm 31 now. I don't know. I didn't really start to Smash seriously until I started hanging out with Daria, Low Profile Jones. And yeah, here we are a year later. And yeah, she got me into Baddy.
Nice. So how many games, or what did the games look like when Daria was like, you know what, Heather, I think you're ready for Baddy Smash? Like, were you guys going back and forth, like even wins 50-50? Or was it like once you started to learn a few Ridley combos, or once you picked a main, she sort of told you about Baddy? How did that conversation go?
Yeah, I'd say it was getting to the point where they were talking about starting up the next season, and I wouldn't say we go 50-50. It's probably more like it's probably 1 and 2. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but still pretty decent. So, still a far cry from where I was whenever we first started hanging out, and I would just get destroyed all the time, constantly. So, but
Hey, it's the growth you love to see.
Right? It's good. So I didn't expect to get this into Smash, but I don't know. Ridley's just super fun.
Now, speaking of, I'm going to skip around in our questions a little bit because there's something a little interesting. A lot of the players left. There's 14 players left trying to get into top 8. There are only 5 solo main players left. You're one of them. You solo main that Ridley, and I gotta say, it looks so fun when you're playing Ridley. You've inspired me to play Ridley a whole bunch in quick play.
Nice.
Why Ridley though?
Why Ridley? Honestly, I think probably just because it's the only character I could actually sometimes beat Daria with whenever we first started playing together.
Like something just clicks.
Yeah, before that, like I don't know, before I started playing with her, I played a lot of Snake and Ike, Lucas, those kind of characters. So
Okay. Who did you use in 64?
64, probably Kirby mostly.
Okay, that's a lot of people. Just the
Yeah.
5 to 7
top
jumps.
tier privilege.
Oh yeah.
That top tier privilege. I don't know, something about being able to fly, I guess, just really appeals whenever you're like, 7 years old and you want to dunk on your friends.
Right, falling off of a platform, you use as many jumps as you can to make it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the appeal. All right, so one of the reasons when me and Chai were deciding on the next guest on the show, of course, your recent set caused a lot of hullabaloo. We're talking, of course, your set versus Kiszer. Unfortunately, you did not win. You lost 2-1. Great set. I think it will be talked about next season and other seasons to come. And if I had to summarize it, I think you lost game 1, and then game 2 was on Northern Cave, and you got the first kill, took the lead, and then there was the Mexican standoff where you were on the platform, Kiszer shooting below you, then jumping and shooting, and you're practicing your parries, and there maybe have been like 10 to 15 seconds of standstill, intense looking in each other's eyes. So we just want to know, what was going through your mind, and you did win that game, so you won game 2, going into game 3.
Narrowly.
What was going through your mind, sort of game 2 after you won the first stock?
I mean, he just kept boxing me out with the lasers. Honestly, I've always struggled with like the Star Fox character projectiles, just because they are intangible to my projectiles, which is like how I like to deal with, that, or using a fair to block incoming projectiles when I'm coming back to stage. And I just don't really have that option. So it's really hard for me to be aggressive, like I would like to be. So I just kind of was like, all right, he's going to keep throwing this at me. I can just stand on this platform and like 160%, what's a couple of stray lasers at that percentage anyways. Hopefully he'll just like create an opening.
For sure. So going into game 1, your strategy was like, okay, like do not mess with the laser at all. Don't try to counter it. Don't try to do anything fancy. Just don't even bother with it.
I think that will be my strategy in the future. I think the first game and the beginning of that second game, I think I let myself get my ass kicked by it a little bit. So
That's the rough thing with Ridley too, is because Ridley's one of 12 characters who can't short hop over laser. So you really have to commit just to dodge those.
Yeah, and I always feel like with projectiles, I either want to try to like deflect them with incoming aerials to try to like get a safer approach, or just fly over them. But like if I fly over them, then usually someone quick like Wolf can like. There's no safe way to land in range of me getting an attack, really. So.
All right. I'd like to get a little more of the meat and potatoes of that game too. Some information about it that we'll get into in the main show. But in short, that was roughly a minute and 57 seconds of just Kiszer lasering you and you shielding or shooting plasma breath.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theory that Blaze and I will be talking about in the base show, but we're curious is that, so Kiszer eventually approached. He went to try to fish you with up tilts. If he had not approached, how long do you think he would have stayed on that platform? Because you would, in circumstance of timeout, you would win. Like, you did have the stock lead, you would have the percent lead. If he had not approached, do you think you would have stayed on that platform the entire time and wait for him to let himself lose out of timeout? Or do you think you would eventually would have goaded in and tried to start attacking him?
Man, I don't know. It's a long wait, but I like to think that I would.
It is a legendary long wait. The 2 minutes, even the 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a lot of time in Smash Brothers. I think all of us were just in awe because we had never seen that in Baddy Smash before. We had never seen that dedication to defensive play.
I mean, honestly, I have to credit like how much I play with Daria, because her and I both were struggling with being way too aggressive at the same time, and then our matches just slowly became more and more patient until it was like, pretty typical to have like a 5-minute match.
So that defensiveness is definitely something that's practiced. It really wasn't just a spur of the moment, decision.
Yeah, that's something I've been trying to work on that. So.
Yeah, I do want to say I'm not a hater of that. I love that you decided to play that defensively. It was very big brain, and I think Baddy Smash needs more defensive play. Maybe not a full 7-minute timeout of people just standing, but definitely sometimes you don't have to go in. Sometimes if you got the percent lead, you can just vibe for a little bit. You can just chill and wait for them to do something dumb.
Yeah, I figured even if he didn't approach, he might give me an opening. He might stop using the laser for a minute and let me do something different, but
All right, well, that was last week. Just there's a couple questions about, just a question about this upcoming week. You're in the O2 round right now. You are on the elimination block, chopping block, if you will. What are your thoughts going into CAX, playing against a hero main for what might be your last game?
I don't know. Hero's a toss-up for me. I feel like usually it's a dunk or be dunked situation, but hopefully it's the former.
How many heroes have you played either in your local scene or on Quick Play?
Quick play, I'd say a fair few, but in our local scene, I've probably played one, maybe two in bracket. So
Gotcha. And I know you are. I know you eagerly await the day that you get to play LPJ on stream. Are there any other matchups that are motivating you to survive Elimination Week, get in the top 8? Is there anyone that you're looking forward to playing, or is there anyone that's been eliminated where you were like, "Damn, I really wanted to play them. I'll just have to wait till next season or catch them, playing friendlies."
damn, yeah. Honestly, I'd like to. I wish I would get an opportunity to play Kiszer again, so that we could get the 3 out of 3 matches on that.
That's right, because the set count 1-1.
It is 1-1. We have another Baddy rivalry in our hands.
We've got a nice little rivalry blossoming before our very eyes.
That's right.
All right, Blaze, I think those are all the questions I have. Do you have any questions left for Heather?
I'm sure I had one more. I am sure. Okay. So, some people, their motivation to play Baddy Smash is to hang out with the homies. Other people, their goal is to win it all. Some people take their goals one step at a time, where it's like, okay, step 1, make it out of group stage. Step 2, I want to win the elimination brackets. Everybody's got their different goals. What are your goals? Because this is your freshman season of Baddy Smash. What are your goals for this season? God willing, what are your goals for next season?
My goals for this season, God willing, next season. Man, I don't know. That's big picture stuff. I mean, that on-stream match with Daria is definitely enticing. That's probably my biggest encouraging factor. If it doesn't happen this season, it's got to be a second season. We got to make this happen.
Right. Do you believe that you can make it out of Swiss bracket?
Yes.
Good.
Hell yeah.
I feel like the past few weeks have been not my best game, but I've been practicing up a lot more, so.
I hear you, sister. I hear you. For somebody who went 0-5, the first few weeks sometimes just aren't your weeks. Sometimes that's just not your, sometimes you get a bad day. Sometimes you get a bad week. Sometimes it's just not your month. You just got to wait for the next month. Come in fresh. I've been there.
I'll be there for you.
Thank you, Chai.
Sometimes it's the next year. It's 31 so far, but I'm thinking 32 is going to be my year.
32 might be hot. 32 might be hot and heavy.
It's coming. It's a good number. It's a nice round figure.
All right. So no one else. You've got you don't have any other targets on the wall. It's really just LPJ right now. No other.
And
Kiszer.
And Kiszer. Those are the 2 targets on the wall.
Those are probably the 2 bigger ones.
I hear that. All right, that's all the questions I got for a try.
All right, so lastly, we always give the soapbox to our guest to close out the interview. Heather, is there anyone you'd like to shout out? Anything you'd like to say? Any shit talk you'd like to spread before the set in the next week? The floor is yours.
Yeah. Cats hero, more like 0. Fucking got him.
Oh shit!
Mic drop.
Boom! I always include shit talking as an option, and very few people have the gall to do it. Call me a Heather fan today. Call me a Heather fan today.
If this were a show for all ages, what would the shit talk be, Heather? Or if it weren't for all ages.
If it weren't for all ages?
Yeah.
I mark this show as not okay for children when I upload it to YouTube.
Oh man! Now you're trying to put. I can't come up with anything good on the spot.
That's fine. Right. Hero 0.
We're gonna have to keep it the PG one. I know.
Send us the audio file later. We'll edit it in, fix it in.
Right. We'll get some wrestling promo music over the top.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good. Yeah.
It'll work perfect.
You can fix it in post. Yeah, sounds great.
We've had some amazing rap beef edits to start some hot shit. So
yeah, I can't tell if you're serious or not.
No, we've had 2 people make rap videos calling out their opponents.
All right, I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna get you guys something.
We'll be ready.
We love it. Anyway, thank you so much, Heather, for coming up on the show.
Thank you, guys.
For now, that'll close out this week's episode of the Baddy Preshow podcast. This was Chai.
I have been Blaze. T3 Simp is here in spirit.
Very spiritual.
And we got Heather heading out.
Thanks.
Peace.